Hey there, Town Hall family. Scott Hounsell here with my good friend and Town Hall compatriot, Brad Slager. We're honored to be here today with Robert Davi, Hollywood actor, famous in all the different movies. You've seen his face everywhere you look. He is so well known. I loved him in Bond. It's so great to have him here. And today we're going to be talking a little about what has got going on with his latest projects. Currently you're directing a movie called My Son Hunter.
My Son Hunter. Just before that, though,
yes.
The audience is probably going, that's the guy from Goonies.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Hey, you guys.
Hey, you guys. Anyway, among many 150 others. But yeah, I just finished directing a film called My Son Hunter. We shot in Serbia, in Belgrade, which was great. Wonderful crew, because we needed the Ukraine, which is very much in the news right now. And the film, Philip McAleer and Anne and Magdalena from Unreported Story Society had the script developed and researched, and how interesting the timing of it is. But we shot in October in Serbia, and the interesting thing is the hotel I was at in Serbia a month before, and this is just last October, Hunter Biden was there. And here we are shooting the film, My Son Hunter. Lawrence Fox plays Hunter, great English actor. His family is a dynasty of English acting. John James from Dynasty plays Joe Biden. Gina Carano plays Secret Service agent. And a very beautiful young Michelle Pfeiffer, Sharon Stone actress, Emma, and I forget her last name because it's Serbian. She's English and Serbian, but beautiful actress. And forgive me, Emma, for forgetting the last name again, or pronouncing it. Anyway, we deal with, I read Beautiful Things, the Hunter autobiography, and extracted stuff from that with the screenplay written by Brian Godswa and film, and put stuff from his autobiography into the film, where he I didn't want to demonize drug addiction, because a lot of families, myself included, I have a son who had an issue, a daughter, you know, I didn't want to demonize that aspect of it. It's a suffering thing. It's a father-son story. I delve into a humanized Hunter. I show the sexuality. We show the strip joints and the Chateau Marmont orgy, much like the Wolf of Wall Street kind of orgy going on, you know. And then we segue into the Ukraine and China and all the deal making and all the, if you want to say, the influence peddling that the son of a vice president and then president can have, and the influence that they can have inside government and making these outside deals. And I think it's. You ever see the movie American Hustle?
Yes.
David O. Russell.
Sure.
So I wanted that tone, where it has satire. You humanize the characters. You feel for the characters, as well as the absurdity of the situations.
Right.
So where do you draw the line then when you have a character like Hunter who's just well known for the drug addiction? Where did you set that line to stop so you don't demonize it?
You don't stop. You explore it like he did in his book, because by exploring it, you don't demonize him. Because, for instance, I draw the line. I could have taken his affair with his sister-in-law after Bo died. We talk about his suffering when the mother had the car accident with his sister, and his love for his brother Bo, and how they as a family grew up together. So we explored that. We have him talk about that, because it's told, the story is through the eyes of this 25, 26-year-old girl who's a left-wing activist who actually strips to pay for her college, and that's how she winds up meeting Hunter. And they get involved, and now the story unfolds through their relationship. And as he's explaining to her about his mother, about his father, the loss of Bo, how Bo was lost, you know, you find the justification, not a justification, but you start to feel for Hunter deeply, because you see the pain he might be in. And an addict is an addict. It's very difficult. And I did not want to tone that, because he doesn't in his book.
Right.
Have you read his book?
No, that I'm not.
No. Anything you see, he talks about excuse me, in his book. He talks about the deals, but not the influence with his father.
Right.
And but that supposition you have to make because he was on those planes.
On Air Force Two.
On Air Force Two.
Secret Service records showing him traveling with the president or the vice president.
Right, and then making these deals. And he even talks himself every 15 minutes while he was making a deal with the Chinese or the Ukrainians, Burisma, for instance, he was getting high.
Right.
So it's not demonized, it's showing he was a functioning addict that was able to brilliantly orchestrate some of these deals because he had, as he says, a superpower behind him.
So you're a presentation of it, but not lecturing about it.
No.
Warts and all, but
no,
there's
tone. Yeah, there's nothing. I don't comment on that. I show it, and he actually then admits it as he does in the book. So I have him self-confessing his own screw-ups, and it's the night of his father's of them finding the laptops that we start the movie with. The night of the laptops being discovered.
That must have been tough.
Oh yeah.
mean, there's how do you kind of cover? Do you cover how Hunter kind of lived in the shadow of Poe? Always
Yes.
kind of felt second.
Oh, absolutely, very, very deeply covered like that, and probably a motivating force of his not being able to live up to his brother. So that's where you're feeling that, and then at the same time the father and son relationship, and how you'll see. But to me, you wind up appreciating. At the same time going, I've showed it to some people on the left, a rough cut of it, to get their feeling of what they were going to say, and they loved the film, but they also said the right's going to eat it up, and I don't think that because I made a film for, I think, everyone. I didn't want to but because it's showing something that the left refuses to respond to and admit to, which is unfortunate.
If the same story was being told about Donald Trump Jr.,
it would be insane.
Yes, it would be all over the place.
It'd be insane. If that laptop was, if any of it would be non-stop.
Right.
Look they're blaming Trump for Ukraine. Now here's the funny part about it. If you have Hillary Clinton who gives the uranium to the Russians, you got Joe Biden that says, go ahead, supply more than just under 50% of the oil and gas. We'll give you a second pipeline. Nobody talks about the first pipeline, right? And he shuts down Keystone. And I think our politicians, I haven't heard enough of our politicians saying, we had in World War II, Germany and Japan. Now we have Russia and China. We have Iran on the verge of whatever it might be in North Korea. Why aren't we really establishing American manufacturing? Why aren't we blasting out American, the medical medicine industry, our manufacturing industry? We should be on all cylinders. Our fossil fuels, we have technology, we can have clean energy. And I'm an environmentalist.
Right.
I was in the Amazon rainforest, 1990. I did a film with a Finnish director about the pollution of the Amazon and the importance of our rivers and I did a concert for Prince Albert, the oceans. I'm all for that. But this narrative, this political correct narrative that the left has done, and they continue to do, is decapitating the United States.
It's that we live according to the dictates that they define, and if you don't meet their definitions, you're the enemy.
Yeah.
And too often within conservative circles, we try so often to try to find common ground when they're not interested in finding it. They're uninterested in finding that common ground.
Yeah, they talk about it.
Right.
See, what they do is they triangulate. They immediately say Trump is corrupt with Russia.
Right.
Meanwhile, they're doing it. And we found out for 3 years we went through this. They assassinated Trump with Russian collusion. It's a lie. And yet they still want to say, well, Trump said this about Putin. They're now blaming Trump and said Putin was a genius. Well, Biden said he was an adversary, what would he call him? A competent adversary or something to that effect. Very smart, bright. It's the same thing, but the way the left-wing media, and I got friends of mine, I'm telling you, from Europe, that watch CNN now and are disgusted by CNN, they're seeing the lying. And they're nervous. They're nervous. They admit in some circles that they miss Trump. they have to begrudgingly say that.
Right. Well, I don't think that, like with Ukraine, I don't think that Putin would have looked twice in the direction of Ukraine if Trump were still president.
I don't think so.
I don't think that would have occurred. I think that.
Well, look at the fact that this is the second time he's attacked in 8 years, but both times were during Democrat administration.
Right.
And they want to blame Trump, who had kept them neutral.
When you have a president that says America's not an exceptional nation, you have a president that guts our energy sector. We could be supplying 50% of Europe's gas and oil. We could be the leaders in that. And we've abdicated that and weakened ourselves. Meanwhile, people are paying for gas. It's $6 a gallon in California, some places.
Right.
It's going up over $100 a gallon. Oil. I mean, if you wanted to shoot this country in the foot, you had to make these decisions. So you have to say to yourself, where are the people out there? How come you're not woken up? How can Hollywood elites not say anything about what's happening, even in Los Angeles, which has become a S-hole in terms of the homeless? You see it. You're in California.
Under every bridge, every overpass.
Every overpass. Venice.
Yes.
When I first came to California in 1980, it was gorgeous. I mean, it was nice.
It was Mecca.
You know, it was
weather
beautiful.
Mecca. Everywhere you wanted to go was
Venice
beautiful.
Beach, you can go along there. Now what they've done is they've decimated it.
Right.
And the left has done this continually. You've got a DA attorney, Gascon, the other one in San Francisco, Chase Bodine, raised by Bill Ayers.
Right.
And, you know, what we do in our film is, I hope it awakens some people on the left because it's an entertaining film.
Why
the
this
performances
story
are great.
isn't being told on the left? That's
What?
the question they wanted
Absolutely,
to be asking.
yes.
Well, now that we've had these really deep
Yes.
and intense conversations.
But we should be opening up our energy sector, and you should be telling every politician you run into.
Right.
Start fighting for that now.
Right, correct. Onto a lighter subject now,
Yes.
Because we
Much lighter.
you were in a Bond movie, License to Kill.
Yes.
We now know that Daniel Craig is no longer going to be Bond.
Yes.
Who would you like to see be the next Bond? I know that you probably have a pretty good opinion on this matter.
Well, I would have an opinion. It would be, it's again, Bond is such an iconic character. You had Sean Connery, who was brilliant. You know, Lazenby. You had Timothy Dalton. You had Roger Moore. Daniel Craig, Pierce Brosnan. I mean, you know, they talk about having a black Bond
Yeah.
because of the correctness and the political correctness. That's not how Ian Fleming wrote him, but it seems I'm not sure yet. What actor I would have.
I've been looking at Idris Elba as you bring it up.
Who?
Idris Elba.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
can see him filling the role of doing it correctly.
But they shouldn't have him as Bond. If they want to do that, they should do what they did with Halle Berry and Jinx. They had Jinx, right? They created another character. James, are we going to continue to do that kind of cultural wokeness where we're going to say, you know, let's change everything into, now we're going to do The Godfather,
Would it be wokeness if they made him a different agent and renumbered him, 009, let's say, and then
Yes.
launched the series off that way?
Well, no, that's a different thing. That's what I'm saying. But if it's 007, if it's the Bond, but the fact that they killed Bond is interesting. I don't know if it's interesting, isn't it?
Because that could pave a way then for a supplemental agent.
Well, they could have done that without having to kill Bond.
Right.
They could still have 007
Right.
and have a guy come along, and they could have had 007 retire for a year, and then bring him back, after the next episode. But
Or even have him maybe elevate into a higher level where he could become
M.
and then mentor maybe some of the newer
They
agents.
could have had something like that done.
So where are people going to be able to find My Son Hunter when it comes out, and where?
You can go to mysonhunter.com and you can kind of support the film there, get our updates. I'm in post-production right now, sound design, looping, all of that good stuff. And I wish people would go to mysonhunter.com, find out the latest information if you want to throw a few shekels toward it, because Hollywood would not fund this picture.
Right.
And but I have great performances out of the cast. Really is, I think, a terrific.
And where can people find you on social media if they would like to follow you on social
At
media?
Robert John Davi on Twitter, at Robert John Davi on Twitter, at Robert Davi on Instagram, and I have a little thing on CRN Talk. I do something where I expound every day for an hour. Stream of consciousness, insanity, you know, Scott.
Just let it go.
Just let it go.
Your venting session.
Venting session. My venting, unfiltered.
Yes.
Frightening.
Anyway, well, thank you so much, Robert.
Hey,
for joining
brother.
us again. We'll do it
God
again
bless
soon.
you. Yes.
Stay tuned here at Red State and at the Town Hall booth for further interviews. Thank you.